question, and that's what it's time for. It's presented by Old Trapper. It's the delicious beef jerky. It's perfectly moist, even though that's a gross word. It's a delicious product. Jamie, you're eating this stuff, but today I understand you have a beef with something.
Well, I have found some people that exist in the world that have such a beef with a certain team in the NFL that I had to highlight this.
Okay, what do you got?
So, the baseline reason we all love football, sports in general, doesn't matter. If you just change a channel and got to us, it's just, you like sports, stay here. It's because it's competition. You want to win. You want to see your team win. You want to see the team that beats your team lose. Seeing the team that neighbors yours and maintaining an utter disdain for them is absolutely commonplace. This is a story of fantasy football lovers alike, because you can quite quickly identify the villain in this story and apply it to your own life. For example, Yankees fans, you don't want someone mockingly asking you, who's your daddy? And you definitely don't own a pair of Red Sox. Lakers fans, everyone seems to be annoyed with you, so we're just going to move on with that. But you know how it feels. You get disdain across the board. It's accepted in sports. How about Vikings-Packers, though? Playing this weekend felt like a good time to display what this rivalry looks like from the western side of the Mississippi River. A couple of weeks ago, I was back home in Minnesota for game day morning for the incredible Colts-Vikings game. But the night before, I went to dinner with friends. A man approached our table, and he said, "Hi, my name is Charlie. I graduated from the same high school that you did, a couple of years ahead of you. Can I have a minute of your time to tell me about your fantasy football league?" I was like, "Seriously, Charlie, this is what we're going to interrupt dinner for?" But we'll go with it. Charlie graduated high school in the mid-'90s from the same high school, probably a fan of Drew Hill. And he's had the same fantasy football league for the last 20 years with all guys that went to my high school. It's your typical fantasy football league, except for one thing. One thing really caught my ear. Packers players are banned in this league. Packers players are banned. You can't draft them. That's right. This league does not allow a single Packer player to be drafted. No Aaron Rodgers, no Christian Watson, no Aaron Jones. They do not exist in their point system. Now, for as deep as the Packers' annoyance runs in this league, you'd think the rules would apply to across the board. But that's not just what sums this lead up. No, in fact, it's the group's pathologic true love for the Vikings that is the backbone here. So the Packers, they're bad guys. Out of here. We got that. Here's the next layer. If you start a player on a team that is playing against the Vikings that week, you are put on a list.
What list?
You're considered treasonous, and you are subjected to their infamous betrayer report. By the end of the year, if you are the unfortunate holder of a fantasy team with players who scored the most points against the Vikings, you are relentlessly harassed for being atop the betrayer report list for the entire offseason. You are the ultimate betrayer. Like every other fantasy league, naturally there's a wrestling-style championship belt, which the guys who win get to obtain for the offseason. You're encouraged to share photos of the belt in your daily life. This belt has been photographed across the country at weddings, with newborn babies, and my personal favorite, in a pregnancy photo shoot. Yes, indeed. This belt, there's a new But this was, there it is. No, she's got her baby bump, and then this is Charlie holding the belt. Seriously? I'm sure his wife was thrilled about this. She actually looks committed to the team. On the other end of the spectrum, whoever finishes last in this league is forced to prominently display a trophy that is less than appropriate for morning television in their homes. It was described to me as a free anatomy lesson for any manager with young children.
Is that true? Can we see that trophy?
We cannot.
Please.
My brief chat with my new friend Charlie, it gave me a lot of warm fuzzies for the hatred that is entrenched in football and rivalries. Because at the end of the day, this league is compiled of 4 things that we all well know and love. Lifelong friendships, a collective disdain for all things Packers, an obsession with the Vikings, and one inappropriate trophy. Can you imagine what the guys from the Back to the Roots League feel this weekend? To hell with their rosters. The Vikings have a chance to do something they haven't done in 5 years. Sweep the regular season series against that team from Wisconsin. So while the Packers don't exist in the imaginations of this special league, they most certainly will be a reality on the frozen tundra of Lambeau this Sunday afternoon. Could there be a more fitting way to ring in the first day of 2023 for these guys with 0 entrance on the betrayer report this week? Because again, in this 40-something collective group of brains, the Packers do not exist. Then watching their beloved Vikings go up against their arch rivals. This fantasy football league, I was obsessed with learning about you guys. The betrayer report, the championship belt, the anti-Packer league. I mean, my God, it was like everything I wanted baked into a league. What do you guys think?
It's a great story, Jamie. I love the other pictures to prove it. I do have a question. Like, all right, so you're in Charlie's league, and it's a critical week coming down the stretch, and you're like, well, I got Phillip Rivers on bye, and there's Rodgers sitting there right there on the waivers winning MVPs. Maybe I just throw him into my roster for 1 week.
I bet that earns you just top of the... Like, you're just done for the season. You're the ultimate betrayer. Here's the other thing about the inappropriate trophy. They have a rule that if you get texted something that says you have to go and take a selfie with the inappropriate trophy within, like, the hour. You have to, like, rush back to your house and be like, yeah, here it is on full display in my home.
Just carry it around with you. But for me, I'd rather earn the belt. I don't care about the betrayal report. Put me at the top. If I get the belt, especially if you've watched the Vikings defense, if I have an offensive guy playing against him, I'm putting him in the game because he's probably going to go off. So
because
you can have
sometimes
the
a win's a win.
Give me the belt.
It's
right?
Incredible commitment.
No, but maybe the betrayer list will become commonplace now in fantasy football. We should run it by Adam Rank when we get him on this. Let's talk Cowboys at the top of the next hour.